Hello and welcome to this episode and final episode of the Ice World podcast. I'm Nadia Frontier and I spent 3 years working across Rothera Research Station on the Antarctic Peninsula and King Edward Point on the sub-Antarctic island of South Georgia. Today, we're marking one of the most significant dates in the Antarctic calendar, Midwinter, the 21st of June. It's a really important moment in the calendar. It's the moment the darkness stops deepening and the lights start slowly to return. It's celebrated across every British Antarctic survey station, and it has all sorts of traditions and rituals. I'm joined today by 3 people who are currently down south and spending midwinter there. Josh is an electrician at Rothera Research Station on the Antarctic Peninsula, one of Bass's largest stations and one that experiences the most dramatic winter darkness. Catherine is a zoological field assistant working with seals at Bird Island, a tiny sub-Antarctic island off the tip of South Georgia. And Cami is a marine biologist based at King Edward Point, also on South Georgia. They're each having very different Antarctic experiences, and I can't wait to hear how midwinter is shaping up for them. So, let's start with a quick introduction from each of you. Josh, let's start with you. Tell us about yourself and what does your job role involve at Rothera?
Hi, I'm Josh. I'm one of the electrical maintenance technicians here for the 2025/2026 winter season. My job mostly comprises of maintaining fire alarms, maintenance checks on distribution boards and equipment and control panels, looking after fridges, gas detection units, and then responding to anything that might go wrong across site if there's any faults that pop up or things that suddenly break. I'm also fortunate enough to work in the BA team, have a leading role with them, and I've been coxswain trained on the boats as well.
Can you explain what BA is?
So that's breathing apparatus for search and rescue teams. If we have a fire or a toxic hazard on site, if we deem it safe to go in, if we need to rescue somebody, the BA team will be the search and rescue team who will go under breathing apparatus to go in and rescue someone if necessary.
Nice, big responsibilities. It's a pretty full job role there. And Catherine,
Yeah,
you're tuning in from Bird Island. Can you tell us about yourself and what does your day-to-day look like?
So I am a zoological field assistant here on Bird Island and my specialty is seals. So in the summer, this is focusing on the Antarctic fur seals, and in the winter, this is focusing on leopard seals. So primarily for photo identification. So I'm out checking the beaches and checking the water every day, scanning for any leopard seals that pop up and taking pictures of all of them from all angles.
So every single leopard seal, like if you were to have 200 leopard seals turn up to Bird Island, for example, would that happen and would you have to capture all of them?
Yeah, I would have to capture all of them. I hope that doesn't happen. So far this year, we've had just over 25 sightings, which is quite a lot for so early on in the season. And I have been loving seeing every one of them, but it does get hectic even when there's 2 on the same day, trying to keep track of who's popping up where and where they're moving around to and what they're doing.
Wow, that's a pretty cool job to explain to people back home about what you do, to be honest. Like, I think hopefully everyone can grasp that.
I hope so. I do love it. It's fascinating watching what they get up to.
Yeah, amazing. I guess you get to like really just know that animal individually and their behaviour. It's so special. And Cami, you're at King Edward Point. So can you introduce yourself and what do you get up to every day?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Cami. I'm based at King Edward Point, where I work as a marine biologist. Our work is quite varied, but it focused mainly on monitoring the local wildlife. So we do seals and a lot of seabirds as well. So we have monitoring programs in several species, which run mostly in the summer. And alongside that, we also go at sea on the Pharos, the fisheries patrol vessel of South Georgia, to conduct surveys to measure marine mammal activities, but also krill. So we have these 2 parts of the program running alongside, and a lot of lab work as well, analyzing the samples and stuff like that.
Pretty varied job over there, being a marine biologist at KUP, isn't it? Definitely lots of things to keep you busy. And also, are you still taking observations in the tower for geological observations?
Exactly. No, we've still been doing that. we actually had a lot of issues with maggots this year, so we are also trying to fix maggots. So yeah, it's been a whole thing this year.
So that's basically collecting data for the British Geological Survey to understand how the magnetic field of the Earth is moving.
Yeah.
And there's a station fixed at King Edward Point. So you basically go into like a little hut and have a theodolite or like a magnetic theodolite. And then you're taking regular measurements.
Yeah, we have a theodolite, and we are trying to take measurement of the absolute magnetic field. Right now, it's not working anymore because one of our cables got damaged with water. So we tried different instruments and like different cables to replace it. It's still like not working at the moment.
Sounds like you need an electrician, Cami. Maybe you could get a visit from Josh over there at Rothera, or even some technical advice. I guess you've got your one tech on station as well, but they're not necessarily like a specialist. So before we get into winter celebrations themselves, I want to talk about how it feels to live through an Antarctic winter. Josh, I'll come to you first because Rothera is the station where darkness is the most extreme compared to the subantarctic island stations. So Josh, of course, it's pretty new and fresh for you this winter, but what's the experience been like?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've found that the increase in darkness does have quite an effect. But thankfully, I don't feel that it's affected my mood too much. I still feel pretty chipper and I'm happy to be here. However, I feel like I'm lacking in energy a bit more and just a bit more lethargic. You know, it's quite easy to find yourself wanting to hibernate and sit in the small TV room rather than go to the gym or go out and have a cycle on the runway or something like that. But from a work perspective, you know, I've got to be a bit more mindful about what I'm trying to do that day. And if I can avoid working by head torch, that's always good. So try and do all the outdoor work in the middle of the day if the weather permits, whilst we have some kind of light.
How much light have you got at Rothera at the moment?
So currently, I don't think it's as bad as I expected, but we're still coming towards midwinter. It's not started getting light yet. From sort of half past 10, then we'll start to get 10:30 in the morning. We'll start to see some kind of daylight creeping through, and you can get some spectacular sunrises while that's happening. And then, it will just kind of stay for 2 to 3 hours of good light, and can be quite beautiful throughout that time. Sometimes it just goes to a dull haze, but yeah, then it will sort of be setting again by 2 or 3 o'clock. That'll be that. But we don't see the sun whilst that's happening. Yeah, it just casts enough light so you can see where you're walking. We've been provided with some sad lamps, and I find that's definitely helpful. I don't know about a mood perspective. I suppose it's making me less grouchy in the morning when I have to get up, but it's just a bit more gradual way of waking up. But with all of that said, I would say that it's been easier than I expected for myself to adapt, especially when I compare it to the feeling of winter back in the UK. But yeah, as I say, the skies and the scenery that we see here do make up for the lack of light that we get throughout the rest of the day.
Yeah, I think that's really good to bear in mind. And also you're approaching midwinter, which means that light will be increasing again. It's going to stop reducing in about 3 weeks, given that we're recording this on the 5th of June. So Catherine and Cami, South Georgia doesn't quite get the same level of darkness as the Antarctic Peninsula, but it still does feel very wintry. So what's it like over at Bird Island?
I think the main difference I've noticed from the summer was how much windier it got all of a sudden. It was sort of the start of May and suddenly the wind just started and it hasn't stopped until actually today. It was very pleasant today. It was the first day that I actually felt some sort of warmth. But yeah, it has been quite incredibly windy. Definitely like noticing the drop in the daylight and the drop in the temperature, having most days around about -1 here.
What about the snow? Have you got quite a lot of snow coverage at the moment compared to in the summer where there's nothing?
Got bits. So we've definitely had some really nice snow days, and the seals absolutely love the snow. It is fantastic to watch them they don't walk in the snow, they sort of slide around through it. And it has been brilliant seeing that. But we have had a little bit of warmer weather at the moment, so the snow is melting a bit, but hopefully we'll get more soon.
Fingers crossed. I suppose like later half of the winter probably is more common. Then you'll be digging outdoors and wishing that the snow wasn't there. Is the weather pretty similar, like not too far down the road, I guess, at King Edward Point, Cami? How's the snow on the station?
Yeah, for us, really, it's about the snow that changes in the winter, definitely. We had a few episodes of like good dumps of snow and the track being closed several times as well because of the avalanche risk. Now most of the snow that we had got like into a very thin layer and is frozen. So the whole station is like pretty slippery at the moment, and nobody goes out without using spikes because it's like a skating arena almost. And we are hoping that maybe the snow will like come back again so we can maybe try to ski a bit more, because right now it's not a thick layer anymore. So we'll see.
Yeah, I suppose that would also really increase the avalanche risk if you've got that nice frozen layer. So Josh and Catherine, is this both your first winter experience?
Yeah, my
Yes.
first winter down south.
Amazing. And Cami, you've wintered before, right? With the Institut Polaire Émile Victor, the French equivalent of the Antarctic program?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I've wintered on Crozet Island, on Possession Island, for the French Polar Institute. Worked for them from 2023 to 2024, almost 2025.
And of course, you're like pretty new into the winter here on the British station, but could you give us a bit of an insight into how it compares?
It's very different because on the French subantarctic island, we are working with military. So there's a very like different vibe on station because people come from different employers and different backgrounds. So all the support missions are run by the military, and the science is run by the French Polar Institutes and scientists. The stations are bigger as well. I mean, not Rothera in the summer, obviously, because that's a really massive station. But for example, in Crozet during the winter, we were 27. Usually there are 30 people there. So at KP, we're only 10 people. So that's a big change for sure. And otherwise, it's pretty similar. There's definitely more wind on the French subantarctic islands than there are at KP. Like KP weather is actually quite nice in a way, and we get the snow, and it's nice.
So just could you describe to us where Crozet is in relation to South Georgia?
Yeah, so it's in the Indian Ocean, so quite far. It's east to South Africa, quite in the middle almost of the Indian Ocean. Not too far that it's too close to Australia, but roughly in the middle.
Do you still get snow there in the wintertime?
So you do get snow, but it doesn't really stay because it's usually not cold enough, and also the wind is so strong that all the snow gets blown off. So it does stay a bit on the higher part of the island, but it's very rare that you're walking in snow around the station, but nothing like here. Like you wouldn't be able to ski.
Sounds like you made a great decision to come across to the British side despite Brexit then. So well done. And
Upgraded.
definitely. So for anyone listening who isn't familiar with what the Midwinter celebrations means, it's basically the midpoint of Antarctic winter, so like the equivalent of our summer solstice. And it's a big celebration, bigger than Christmas normally on the stations. So Cami, how would you describe what Midwinter means to people at King Edward Point?
Getting together, it's bringing our community closer. It also means a lot of fun, to be honest. People are very into planning all the celebrations right now. So we are talking about it almost every day, about what we are going to do. And it feels like a tipping point as well. Like you've done like more than like half of your year or your time here, and it's a reminder to like enjoy every day that you get to stand south, and also you feel like some sort of achievement as well, like you've done it so far.
Yeah, you're like halfway there. And what about over at Bird Island, Catherine? Have you guys got time to think about Midwinter with your team of only 4 people?
Yeah, we've definitely got time, and I think there are we've all got individual plans that we're coming up with for what we're going to do on the day, and making our midwinter gifts. So we've all been busy. Several of us have been busy in the workshop, creating different projects for our sort of secret Santa or secret midwinter.
Amazing. And because this will be released on Midwinter's Day, if you would like to, you can actually tell us what gift you're making, if you wish to disclose.
I haven't even told my family who I've got or what I'm making, so I'm worried that if I say it, they'll hear.
Okay, don't worry. We'll pass on that.
It's top secret.
Yeah, I know how serious it is. That was a silly question to ask. I know. I appreciate. I'll leave. What happens in Antarctica stays in Antarctica. So that is something special. Fair enough. And Josh, what's it like over at Rothera? So I guess the darkness is more intense for you, and that change in midwinter is going to bring like some pretty drastic changes in terms of the light and in terms of the wildlife as well. So how are you feeling about seeing the sun again, and what's the kind of vibe on station?
Similar to Catherine's team, actually, I've been more focusing on our winter gifts, and our team have been focusing on that more, rather than thinking that or vocalizing that we want the sun to come back. You know, it's nice, and we're looking forward to it. It'd be good to have a bit more wildlife again, and be able to spend more time walking around the point. Yeah, as I say, we're more trying to focus on what's happening now and the days that we're living in, rather than looking towards the future too much. Because as Camille said, you know, you've got to make every day count here. You're only here for so long. So yeah, focus on the gift, find a way to make people happy.
Yeah, I like that. I think you really do have one winter, and often there can be quite a lot of like stress around making these midwinter gifts. So before you headed south, I'm guessing you would have heard stories about midwinters from people who have wintered before, or if you've experienced it yourself on the French station. Were there any particular moments or traditions that you're looking forward to experience, Catherine?
We've got a little outdoor water tank. So it's tradition in midwinter that we put warm water in the tank, and we get in as a mini hot tub. We don't have quite enough water to do that every day, unfortunately, but as a midwinter treat, we can definitely sit in some warm water. So I'm quite looking forward to that. And then having a really nice meal. We've all got, I think, different things that we want to make. I want to bring out the halloumi and do something special with that for midwinter. And we've got things that we've saved, especially.
What are you going to do that's special with the halloumi?
I found a recipe, so you sort of glaze it and bake it as like a hedgehog halloumi, because it's like sliced but not all the way. So
like the Hasselback potatoes.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, very, very good. Very good. That sounds very nice. What else has been saved, especially for midwinters over there? Because you don't have that many fresh vegetable, or do you have much supply from the Faroes actually?
No. So we are hoping that we might get a midwinter ship, which will arrive just after Midwinter's Day.
It's too late.
It's
Tell them to come
too late
before.
for the feast, yeah. So that depends on the weather. So the wind, for example, might prevent that landing, but hopefully we do get it. But there's been I'm vegetarian myself, so I'm not sure what the two meat eaters have been saving, but there's definitely meat related plans. And then for me and the other vegetarian here, we're definitely thinking about the cheeses.
And Cami, what did you do on the French station for midwinters? Did you celebrate it in a similar way, like that you're obsessively talking about it every day?
Well, there are definitely some similarities and like big celebration. It's one of the biggest celebration of the year on the French station as well. But some things were quite different. Like one of the biggest traditions on the French station, on all the French station actually, is the election of a new station leader before the midwinter week. So people would campaign for the role, form political parties, create political programs, slogan, even advertisement, like filmed advertisements, send emails to everyone. And there would be promises, alliance, like attempt to buy votes, all in good fun. And then the night before the midwinter week starts, there would be a big debate between the candidates. And the winner then have complete authority over the station for the whole week. And the goal is not necessarily to run things very efficiently, like the idea is create a lot of fun and maybe a bit of disruption as well, like changing meal times and inventing new station rules to organizing surprise events, like things like that. So, and then you have a week of like a marathon of events, and the station is also divided into teams, and each team is responsible for a day of celebration and food. So the cooks don't have to cook anymore, and at the end of the week, there's also an election of who was the best team that, brought them all like the best meals and the best time for everyone.
That sounds so French. Are you going to bring any of those traditions that you've experienced before to KUP, or are you happy to roll with a different set of traditions?
No, yeah, I'm quite happy to do another like set of traditions, and I'm quite excited that we're gonna watch the thing as well, because we didn't get to do that on the French station. So it's gonna be different but very nice.
Will Rothera and Bird Island be watching the thing on Midwinter's week?
It hasn't been discussed for us, but I'm not keen.
Controversial.
I'm not a horror fan, so I don't know if I'll.
Oh, Catherine, it's a terrible.
Might change my whole experience here.
Sorry for all the listeners, but it's just not a horror. It's not even scary. It's so badly. It's so badly made, but it's funny. It's almost a comedy, I would say, rather than a horror. I don't like horror films either, but I'd say you should watch it. It's really not scary at all.
Okay.
Or
maybe
or
I'll
like,
try it. I'll hold a cushion up so I can watch it behind that.
And Josh, where will the thing be held? Because of course, like with all the changes with the new building, the Discovery building, it used to be held in Fuchs Loft, which is like the field department store. So that is no longer standing. So where is this new location for the film screening?
This is something that we've got this year. Is we haven't got many returners with us for winter, so we've not got a lot of experience to draw off there. But also the buildings have changed quite a lot. So we're setting our own traditions in a lot of ways, like traditions that would happen in Fuchs House, in the loft, or in the field prep area for like the Olympics and things like that. Whereas we don't have that now. So Fuchs Night we had in the boat shed, and it was great. It was a real good change of scenery, and we haven't actually had much of a conversation as to where we will move things to. I think it's just pick and choose as and when it's an event that's coming up. The previous group did something that I quite like the idea of, which was like a secret cinema. So they would hand out ballot out tickets, and those who got tickets, they would then say, "Oh, well, you'll get a note at a certain time of day before that event's going to happen." So you would then go to a different room and go and watch this film in an obscure place of the station. So I'm tempted to try and do it that way around. I'd like to bring that back and just get us exploring station a bit more.
That's cool. I like that. That's a really nice idea. And will you be performing any like magic tricks during Midwinter? Because I've heard that you were tied up in rope and had to escape out of a pea box as a magic performance. Was there more to it?
Yes, we had a Rothera's Got Talent competition, and there were some tremendous acts. Yeah, so escapology is something that I have practiced in the past. I got my friend Alex as my beautiful assistant. He tied me up in a 50-foot rope and put boxing gloves on me so I couldn't get out of that, and then put me inside of a kit bag. I did a bit of escapology for everyone and got out of there. Nice little performance.
Wow. I would love to see a video of that. How long did it take you?
From the bag being zipped up, I think it was about 30 seconds, maybe 40 seconds.
Oh, that's so quick.
I used to practice with a friend when we did stage performances, and we'd use like police grade handcuffs or straight jackets and that type of thing. So it's a niche little skill I thought I could bring to Rothera.
That is niche.
Although I didn't want to bring my handcuffs through airports.
Yeah, fair enough. So it's great having the three of you together, because your stations are all just so different in terms of the size, the location, how many people you have in each of your wintering teams. Like Rothera, for example, is 40.
Actually, we're quite low this year. We have had a few departures or people who couldn't make it for one reason or another. I think we're at 26 or 27. 26, I think it is. It's our wintering team now.
Really small team, 26. So Bird Island, we've got 4. And is there 9, 10, including government officers at KEP?
Yeah, 10.
You're 10 at KEP. Okay, so very different. So if you had to put into words the atmosphere of what that feeling at Midwinters is like, would you be able to describe it, or like the run up to it?
I think for us, the SDA has recently left us. I think it was 2.5, maybe 3 weeks ago now. So we're still pretty new into the whole isolation, and we're still settling in. But we're still just taking it as a point to take time for each other and be able to relax and catch up on how hectic the summer was. So hopefully it's going to be more of a chilled out atmosphere.
And what's the atmosphere like on the subantarctic islands? You've been in winter winter mode for a bit longer. Like, when was the last call of the ship?
So for Bird Island, we had our summer team leave on the 27th of March, I believe. So it's been
ages ago
now, just over 2 months of just the 4 of us. And I think we all found it amazing how quickly we adapted to having such a small team. I know that when I was stood on the jetty watching the SDA sail off, I was like, oh gosh, what have I done? We've got so many months ahead of us, but it's absolutely flown by. I can't believe that it's been 2 months already. Yeah, I think we're shocked at how quickly it's going, and we kind of want it to slow down. So it is, like, for us, Midwinter is definitely like a celebration of like how far we've come together, and sort of just making the most of the time that we've got here.
Do you feel like there's any sense of relief and that you're like looking forward to that halfway point in the winter, or actually would you just like time to be slower and live the winter for longer?
I guess a little bit of both. I'm quite looking forward to some lighter evenings again. I know it will take a couple of months to get there, but it will be nice when we're able to go out after dinner and walk to the next beach over. There's quite a large penguin colony there, so it's really nice to be able to enjoy that in an evening.
What penguins?
Penguins on the next beach over.
Amazing. And what about the atmosphere over at KUP, apart from talking about Midwinters every day? What's it like?
I think everybody was quite happy to go in winter mode and have a bit less activity on station, because we get so many of the teams during the summer. We get the cruise ships activity as well. So right now we get to enjoy the KP landscape without having like cruise ships in the bay, which is quite nice as well. We are not completely closed off, because even if the SDA left like beginning to mid-April, we still get the Pharos, and I also get to go on the ship quite often. So for us, it's like not completely closed off, but we've been enjoying having a smaller team and getting to spend more like time with each other. And in winter, things are a bit slowed down as well compared to at least for the marine biologist.
But yeah, I suppose having that like very close knit community is so special and more of that family feeling. Before I let you go, I want to ask you each one final question. If someone listening is thinking about applying to a job in Antarctica and they're wondering if they could cope with a polar winter, what would you tell them, Josh?
Since I was a teenager, I sort of lived by the rule of if you don't turn up, nothing ever happens. You know, you need to apply for it if it's something of interest to you, because otherwise you'll never get the chance to do it. As for how you'll handle it, like, it's something you learn about yourself either from past experiences or whilst you're here, but you make some great friends whilst you're here and they help you get through it if you struggle with it. I'm really happy I made this decision, and I feel like I've grown a lot because of it.
Yeah, I think it is, like, especially winter is just a very different pace of life, and it's just like, it's been really nice to be able to slow down and just take things day by day, and like, you sort of notice the little changes a little bit more, get your headspace together and just focus on where you are and being quite present. It's been really nice for that.
And Cami, would you advise somebody to do a winter, given that you've done 2?
Definitely. I think it's a very interesting experience, and also we are very lucky to be able to experience it. So I would definitely wish it to other people. And if you're wondering if you are basically capable of handling it, I think it's you're already on the right path, because it's important to weigh the pros and cons and like think about your decision. But I don't think you will regret it if you take it.
I listened to podcasts of other technicians who'd been here, and it gave a good insight for that. So thanks. It's good to be part of the history of the show.
Well, it's so lovely to have you guys on. Thank you so much for that feedback, Josh. And I wish you all a really happy Midwinters. And I hope you have a great celebration together with your Antarctic families. Like, it really is such a special time.
Thank you very much. And happy Midwinter to the other 2 stations as well.
Yeah, happy Midwinter to everyone.
Yeah, happy Midwinters.
And this is our final ever episode of Ice World. The podcast was started back in 2019 by one of our field guides, Rob Taylor, who had the idea that people back home would enjoy hearing the stories of people living and working in Antarctica. He passed the baton to me during my first winter, and it has been such a privilege to carry it on from there. Over the years, we've heard from scientists, support staff, doctors, carpenters, cooks and field guides. People who have wintered in the dark, who have seen glaciers, penguins and wildlife up close, who have fixed things that shouldn't be fixable with whatever happened to be in the workshop. People who came for 1 season and stayed for 5. I hope this podcast has given you a sense of what Antarctica really is. Not just the ice and cold and the remoteness, but the community, the humour, the ingenuity, and the deep, quiet magic of being somewhere so few people ever get to go. If it's made you think differently about Antarctica, that's everything we could have hoped for. And if it's made even one of you pick up an application form, well, Rob and I think we did our job. I'm Nadia Frontier, and thank you for listening.